Hi, everybody. This is Brogan. This is How to Otaku. Before we get started, I want to have a quick content warning. We are discussing the second half of the Golden Age arc for Berserk, and even more so than the last set of episodes, there's some disturbing imagery and disturbing content in this set of episodes, including sexual assault, body mutilation, suicide, and just general body horror stuff. If any of that is uncomfortable for you, we're going to try and keep it to after the ad break for this episode. But as it is very saturated in this set of episodes, some of that will inevitably leak into discussions before then. If you feel uncomfortable about this, feel free to skip this episode, but I would say you're safe-ish up until the ad break. After the ad break, we will fully discuss it. So, that being said, on with the episode. There's no point in making yourself go crazy over it. Whether it's dice or podcasting, if it's meant to be, you'll win. Here goes.
What do we get?
We got a 2.
Motherfucker.
Goddamn. God damn it. God damn it.
We're not starting this podcast off very well.
Hold on. One more.
Okay.
It was a 3.
Well, it's better. It's better. It's better. You can only
I will
ask
say,
for
I'm rolling on
progress from
D20s,
us.
so I don't know if it is. Anyways, I'm Brogan.
And I'm Josh, and this is How to Otaku.
Wait!
What?
Smash Brothers Brawl. Siren horns. New character approaching.
Yeah.
It's Kian. It's Kian. He's back. He's returned for the Berserk episode. Kian, world famous superstar wrestling champion, Sockman Kian Divine.
That's me. That's my name. I got socks on my hands.
Are y'all ready? This is the this is the part where we all say How to Otaku at the same time. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
I'm Brogan.
I'm Josh.
I'm Kian.
And this is How to Otaku.
How to Otaku.
The show where
really well.
the show where we put all of our other life things to death in order to reach one goal that no one else will appreciate, and that's talking about anime on the internet. So,
a noble cause.
It's a noble cause that will make the world worse, and nobody will like us for it.
Yep. And speaking of making the world worse, this is the episode where we cover the conclusion of Berserk, the show where one little twink and one big angry man fall in love.
I think the term is twunk.
You think Griffith is a twunk?
No, I don't think Griffith is the twunk.
So one twink and one twunk, is that what we're going with?
Yes.
Okay, one twink and one
the
twunk.
New hot social media app.
They fall in love.
Twink twunk.
They don't fall in love. They kind of fall in love, but it doesn't end well.
No.
This was the 90s where if gay people fell in love, one of them or both of them would die.
Or one of them caused an apocalypse.
That also happens.
You say that it was the 90s, and that as if that was, like, exclusive to that, but, like, Brokeback Mountain was 2008, so...
Gay people still cause the end times, Brogan.
No. What I'm saying is, like, that was the point in time where, like, widely there were like, gay people in media, but they were always, like, tertiary characters, and they always had, like, really bad character arcs, and they always wound up dead or... they were the bad guy or some shit.
Yeah. Anyway, now that we pissed off the LGBT community, let's get on with the rest of the podcast.
Let's win them back by talking about anime.
Yep. Everybody knows that the gay people and the anime people are one and the same. That's why JoJo's exist.
There is a lot of intersect.
Is there? Does JoJo make you gay?
I don't think it makes you gay. I think it's just like a... I don't think it makes you gay. It's more of a barometer. Like, if somebody
measures
says,
you're
I
gay.
watch JoJo's, you know that they are gay and they don't have rights.
You okay, dude?
Am I okay?
Kian, is he okay? Kian was having a bit of a an audio blip
That's
for a
just
moment there.
what he sounds like.
Yeah, he sounds like.
Yep.
Yeah, that's probably my air conditioner. I can turn my sensitivity down.
All right. A little bit of housekeeping. Does my audio sound better? Just asking. Like.
Not through Discord, but whenever whoever starts editing this episode listens to that that dirty, nasty, uncompressed WAV file, I'm sure it'll make a distinct difference. So, audience or editor, yeah, let us know.
Well, if it does or if it doesn't, then it may or may not be because I got one of those like crane mic stands. You know what I'm talking about? Like one of the ones that kind of looks like a little crane and like it swivels around so like you can move it out of your way and stuff.
That's very nice.
Yeah, and it's like now the microphone is like 2 inches from my mouth and it's got the pop filter in front of it. So
fuck yeah.
Oh, a veritable setup.
Yep, and it only cost me like $13 on Amazon Jeff Bezos Day. So. You know.
Josh, what did I tell you about fucking shilling Jeff Bezos Day?
I mean, I'm sorry. It's just Amazon.com has all the best deals.
Fuck.
Go to Amazon.com for more information.
We're not sponsored. And this isn't the ad break. You can't tell people that.
Brother, when you invited me onto the show, you didn't tell me I wasn't allowed to slander Amazon. I quit.
You are allowed to slander Amazon. What do you mean?
Oh, dope. Fuck Amazon.
Yeah, I'd love to say fuck Amazon, but I'm a broke boy who has needs, so
The thing
sometimes
is, though, Amazon's got some deals.
Yeah, that's true. Sometimes they do. Sometimes their corporate overlords give us peasants a little, like, they throw us a little bone.
I mean, that 2-day delivery is pretty nice.
It is really nice. Like, sometimes I will literally just, like, I'll pay a little bit more for a product on Amazon just to get the free shipping, you know?
And Invincible? Oh my god, what a good show.
Haven't seen it.
It's by an American
won't.
studio. We're not watching it.
I haven't seen it. I probably won't just because, like, I'm a little bit tired of the idea of, like, what if superheroes were actually not good?
Thank fucking Christ. Finally, somebody else, thank fucking Christ, finally agrees with me.
See, the thing is, the only one I've watched of those is Invincible, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, so I'm not burnt out yet.
Fair enough. So, the next series we're doing, I'm really excited about this one, Cowboy Bebop.
Yep. I don't know what a Cowboy Bean Bowl is, but we're watching it, so...
Cowboy Bean Bowl. That is on... it's on Hulu, Funimation, and Josh, it says Tubi TV. I don't know what that is, but if it works, it works, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of like an obscure service, but, like, they actually have a pretty decent, like, selection of content, and it's all for free. So, like, you know, like, free with ads, but, you know, still free.
So yeah, if you like Josh really hate the Funimation web player for some reason, Tubi TV,
my God,
I guess
it's
is your
fucking awful. It's just let's move on. So that's the show, but oddly enough, the movie isn't streaming anywhere. I don't understand why, because like the rights are owned by Sony, so like they shouldn't have a big problem like getting distribution done on a logistical level, and like. It's Cowboy Bebop. Like, they know that has to have, like, some kind of interest. So, like, I don't understand why it's not streaming on anything. You know?
Is it not?
It's not on anything. Like, you can't even rent it on Amazon.
Can you not even procure it through legal means?
You can, but, like, I believe there was, like, a very limited run of American Blu-rays, and beyond that, there's, like, a whole market of, like, after, like, you know, used DVDs and stuff. But actually what I did is I found an import of the Region B Blu-ray. It was like $17 on eBay, but it works on my Region A player. So, you know, that's what I'd recommend personally. I'll
have to find some way to get that set up because I don't have a Blu-ray player, which is the only reason that I won't be watching the like. I'm very soon going to be moving apartments again. Yeah. And that just wasn't something that I brought with me because I'd only be here for like a few months. Which is the only reason that I don't have access to like the Blu-ray box set that I bought of this show. So I'll have to, if we're gonna cover the movie, I'll have to find some other way to cover the movie. But
I can send you a rip.
That sounds good.
Okay.
I'm gonna call it.
Or I don't know, maybe we can just like I'll have it on a I'll have it playing on
Plex
like my
server.
computer or something, and you know, you can watch it on the Discord or something, you know. And I think that's legal. I
I think
think
technically, yeah. You
so.
can stream whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm not
not
certain that's
not
We are
publicly,
not lawyers.
but
I can tell you what I will do, and I will find some way to watch this movie, and I probably won't pay for it.
Yep,
I
My
can't
dad-
tell you that that's a good idea.
yep.
Please
My
do
dad-
not pirate.
Yep, don't pirate. Pirating
Unless
is
you really
bad.
Unless it benefits you.
Pirating is bad and wrong, and there should be a new word for pirating, like bad wrong or badong. Yep.
I think the dog is a hot contender for the title of piracy.
Shit, man, I badonged a copy of fucking Adobe Photoshop. I'm into it.
Okay. All right. So that's going to be the next like 3 episodes, and we don't really have anything hard planned after that. So like, you know, send us an email or a voice message or, you know, a text on Twitter or whatever, and you know, make a recommendation. You know, if it's
Yeah, let us know.
if it's not terribly long, we'll consider it. You know, like I'm not gonna watch all of One Piece. Sorry.
Damn it!
Did I tell either of you that my friend John Curtis started watching One Piece?
I don't know
Yeah,
who
but
John
he started
Curtis
watching
is.
at like season 5, right?
Yeah, he's on like the most recently animated arc. He's not like sitting through the grind. He's just jumping in.
I mean, that's probably like the best way to do it, just because, like, you know, I have a terrible habit of trying to jump into like long-running series or whatever, and just like burning myself out before I even get to the thing I actually wanted to get to. You know.
But if you just jump in, how will you know who Naruto is?
I can't believe they made 2 whole series about Boruto's dad.
Honestly.
I don't get this joke, but it's probably funny, and that's why I laughed.
It's probably funny.
Other people were laughing, so I just went with it.
So Josh, I see 2 points here on this housekeeping.
Yeah.
I'll let you completely take over the section of the show where we talk about shit that isn't the show, because I've been doing some things, but neither of them are as interesting to me as getting better at fighting games, kind of, and Monster Hunter Rise, which you didn't tell me you got.
Yeah, okay, so I'll start with Monster Hunter Rise then. So, like, I bought the game. Okay, so I went on vacation, and then, like, while I was on vacation, we went to, like, like one of those, old school, like, mom and pop style video game stores.
Yeah.
And, like, I wasn't sure if I was going to pick anything up. I was actually looking for, like, Silent Hill games, because I've been wanting to get into those.
Ooh.
But like on eBay, they're super expensive. So I was wondering if this little mom and pop place would have it at a better price. They didn't. But what they did have was they had a $40 copy of Monster Hunter Rise, which is
Pretty good price for that game.
Yeah, it's a better price than it's had on any like big box retailer or whatever. And on top of that, I had the satisfaction of supporting a small business, so I went ahead and bought it. I played it for like a total of like half an hour, so I can't really like make any value judgments on it, but it's all right so far. You know, I killed a couple dinosaurs. It's nice.
Did you fight the Nard Cougar?
No, I don't think I did.
I'm so mad. Did you just call it a Nard Cougar?
Is that what it's called?
Oh, fucking hell.
And
Cougar.
And then
That's a funny name.
Okay, and then I've been slowly and steadily trying to get into fighting games. So like I've mostly been playing Guilty Gear Xrd and Street Fighter V. And I'm getting better at Street Fighter faster than I am at Guilty Gear, but I think I'm getting better at both. And it also helps. I didn't write this down, but I bought a fight stick. I went ahead and did it. Yeah, like it's the Switch Stick Mini, or like it's the Hori Nintendo Switch Fighting Stick Mini. Yeah. So like, it was $40, and the funny thing is that when I bought it, they sent me 2.
They sent you 2?
Oh, dunk?
Did you keep it?
No, I'm gonna send it back.
God damn it.
Well,
you bought it off Amazon, right?
I can't just knock off Jeff Bezos like that.
Yes,
I mean,
you fucking
Super can! perfectly morally acceptable to rip off anybody with the name Jeff Bezos.
If Jeffrey Bezos sends you 2 fight sticks, you keep both of them. You shitting me?
I'm
Sell
sorry.
it or something.
I'm sorry, I can't undo it now because I've told them that they gave me 2. So
God damn it.
if I don't send it to them, they'll send the Goon Squad. So.
Oh damn, Jeffrey Bezos is gonna come and break your knees.
Or worse yet, they'll send the Toon Squad. Speaking of which, Space Jam 2 coming out this summer.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, this should not be an anime podcast. This should be a Space Jam,
Space
2
Jam
anticipation
podcast.
A Space Jam 2 anticipation podcast, okay.
What if we started a podcast where every week we just watch Space Jam again and talk about it, and like we slowly lose our minds as we keep watching this one movie like every week?
You're gonna have to find a different host for that.
I think my dopamine receptors have been so burnt out because of how much I enjoy it.
It's not a good movie, but it is like dumb fun.
Kian and I have been playing
not
It
about
Takes
the quality
Two.
of the movie. We have been playing It Takes Two. It Takes Two is very good.
Oh.
Surprisingly very good.
Yeah, it's that game from the studio that made A Way Out, which was fucking garbage.
You know, the Prison Break game where one of the main characters has a nose like a shark fin.
I've heard of that one. I haven't heard of the other one. The one that you
It
guys
Takes
are playing.
Two is actually, I don't want to say lovely, because it's presented kind of like a Pixar film, but it's about this couple that's getting a divorce, and like, I want to say like all of the opening hours of that game up until the point where they realized that it didn't work because they've already done it was dedicated to that couple trying to find some way to torment their daughter to make her cry to reverse the spell that she cast on them.
There's a scene in this game where you graphically and brutally murder a stuffed animal, your child's favorite stuffed animal, while it begs for its life.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Also, another content warning for It Takes Two. The book says shit.
The book says shit? When did the book say shit?
The book says shit. Right before the frost level, it says shit.
Oh man, I know that I nutted the fuck up about that when it happened, but I can't remember it.
I don't understand this, but
it is worth playing if you have a friend.
Yeah, if you find somebody to go half in on with you, because that's the other thing about it. Only one person has to buy it, and then the other person can download the friend pass, so you can play it couch co-op side by side on the same console. But if you're playing it, thanks to COVID or just don't happen to live in the same area code as somebody you want to play it with, you can download the friend pass and play it like co-op and only have to purchase one copy.
But that game was made in America, so it's bullshit for the purpose of this podcast.
Oh yeah, that game is stupid and dumb. It was made in America. It's bad.
It's pretty good, but fuck that game.
Fuck that game. Yeah, no.
That's pretty dope. It's like the do you guys remember like those DS games that like you could like have one person with the game and then like everybody else would like huddle around
play.
And download play. That's pretty dope. Man, I miss those days.
Yes. So guys, we're 20 minutes in.
Yeah,
should we say we get started on Berserk?
Yeah, let's actually talk about the thing that people want to hear about. Okay, so where do we start? Like, I don't want to start with the heavy shit, but like this set of episodes is like 90% of the content is heavy shit. So, like, what do we start with?
I mean, we can just start from the beginning and kind of give like a little recap of what happens.
Okay, so like basically where we leave off, like the like Griffith is in a really like he's on the up and up, you know, and then he finally gets the siege on this one fort that that like everybody else thought was impossible to get through, and they finally do that.
Right, like it is the pivotal point in the 100 Years' War. If they win this, and nobody thinks they can, but if they win this, then the war is, for all intents and purposes, over.
Yeah, and you know, through a little bit of hardship, like they didn't anticipate this one dude like kind of catching on to their plan, but then like they just step on his ass anyway. But they finally do it, and the 100-Year War is over, and you know it's a pretty fun battle scene, I'd say. Like, you know, I don't remember a hell of a lot about it, but it's pretty fun.
So fucking sick of the Purple Dolphin Super Elite Mega Fighting Force. Is that what they're called?
They're like the White Rhinos, I think. That's what they're called, or something like that.
No, that's one faction.
Oh, what's the other one?
Then there's the the purple dragons?
No. I'm telling you, it's like the purple dolphins.
Shit, I need to look this up. Fuck me.
Wait, it might be the... Is it the purple rhinos? Wait,
No.
purple something.
Purple whale?
Yeah, that's the one.
Purple whale. Okay.
Purple. He calls it like the Purple Whale Super Elite Fighting Force or some dumb horse shit. And he gets his ass rocked by Casca. Fucking finally.
Yeah, that's the other thing I like about this set of episodes is that like Casca gets a lot more to do. Like she basically
Casca
becomes
gets to be a
like
character this bit.
yeah, she becomes like the de facto leader of the group. Like after Guts pieces out, which is pretty cool. Like. You know, I mean, we don't get to see her do a lot, unfortunately, with that. But it's nice to know that like they trusted her, you know, and she seems very capable. And like, I just love the fact that she still like dunks on that dude despite being like fucking poisoned. You know, like he like makes a big deal about like shooting her with a poison arrow or something in that battle, and she still just like knocks him out clean on his ass.
She does a fucking flip over him, yeah. And then she kills him. She's like, "Shut the fuck up! Stop talking! You just talk so much shit, and you're terrible. Fuck off!"
She shut his ass up.
And then she kills him.
Yeah.
And then Griffith kills his that dude he fucked.
Oh yeah, that's right. That happened. Like. And it's so fucking cold too, because he's like, you know, he's trying to suck up to Griffith, like, you know, didn't we have such a great time? And he's like, no, you meant nothing to me, and then he kills him.
And honestly, it's brutal.
Yeah, but like, you know, but I don't give a fuck about that guy.
Yeah, it's hard to get. There's some blue shit in this series, and one of the bluest pieces of shit in the series was that man. He was a child rapist.
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about what Griffith does later, but
yeah, we're gonna talk a lot about what Griffith does later.
You mean how Griffith did nothing wrong?
Shut.
Someone had to say it, or else.
We're not okay. Just for my sanity's sake, nobody in this call right now is a Griffith did nothing wronger, right?
No, Griffith is a piece of shit. Like,
yeah, no, he's a pretty bad dude.
Okay.
And that's like the whole point of it. But I actually don't know how you watch this show and like don't think at the end that Griffith is a piece of shit. Like,
I don't think there's a way to. I think they're all just memeing.
I mean, unless you're just like a fucking nihilist and don't care about anybody else.
I mean,
like,
some people are just memeing, and then some people probably did get like, oh man, he's
red pilled about Griffith.
He's got such dreamy eyes.
The thing is, though, he does.
That's true. He is a very, very elegant man.
He's got very piercing eyes.
Mm-hmm. Piercing. Oh yeah, you remember the part where like he like 4D chesses that dude, just with like a glance with the eyes, like.
Oh my god! And he's like,
mind games are immaculate.
Has he been? He says, has he been playing me since that moment?
And the thing is, like, you believe that, like, it's, you know, in your head it's a little ridiculous, but you believe that, like, if anybody could do that, Griffith could do that, like.
Because Griffith did do that. I believe wholeheartedly that shit was intentional.
I mean, so I guess like that's the thing that happens after the war is over is like there's like 3 minutes of peacetime and then Griffith gets poisoned.
Griffith gets fake poisoned.
Fake poison, I should clarify.
Hires the guy that wanted to poison him in the first place by kidnapping his daughter. He kidnaps Griffith hires a band of mercenaries to kidnap this man's daughter and forces him to burn down the tower that contained all of the conspirators against Griffin.
Yeah, including the queen.
The queen.
The queen.
Yeah, who is just like completely concerned with her own like bloodline and therefore decided to kill a dude
and
who was hitting on his daughter.
Nobody figures it out.
Yeah, nobody catches on
until Griffith hooks up with a 16-year-old.
And there's the first of Griffith's greatest sins.
I think we're gonna have to wait until after the ad break to get into that, but yeah, that happens. Yeah, so, but like that kind of leads to like one really interesting thing about Griffith is that like he has this like inherent contradiction within himself, where like he loathes the nobility who think that they're like above him, but at the same time he's like, he believes himself to be a chosen one who's super duper important, and everybody should die for him. So,
That's the thing that I think is really interesting about Griffith as a character, because it is explained in this little stretch of episodes that Griffith's only motivation is to become the most powerful man on the earth.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't go about that in a way that is, until later in the series, blatantly mass murdery or evil. He plays by the rules, and he does it better than most of the people that are already in power. And he's a great leader. I think that's the main thing, because the Band of the Hawk follows Griffith not because they have to. They follow him because he is good to them and keeps them safe and fed.
Yeah, and he's like incredibly charismatic, and he like manages to make them believe that like they're fighting for some kind of greater good, even though like if you really look at like the Hawks, they don't have like an ethos or anything. Like they're not fighting to end an oppressive regime or anything. They're just fighting to get Griffith in power.
Yeah, they're a band of mercenaries. They fight for the paycheck.
Yeah, but but at the same time, like it seems like for a lot of them, it is a little bit more than that. At least, like to the characters that that talk to us or talk to each other at the show, like especially like the main group of like 6 or 7 of the Hawks that that make up like the extended ensemble of the show. They seem to be fighting for like they seem to be at least under the impression that Griffith has like a greater moral purpose for gaining power, when really he doesn't. He just wants it.
He just wants power for power's sake, really.
Yeah, and and like I think he does have like a little bit of like a moral conundrum within himself about it, especially like in that last episode where or is it like the second to last episode? Yeah, it's the second to last episode. Huh?
With the kid in the castle and the toy?
Yeah. Like he definitely like he has moments where he reflects on his mission and whether or not like he should be pursuing it, but ultimately like he never gets to the point where he's interested in anybody else's plight, Right.
Literally, he gets to that point of introspection. He's like, wow, look at all this damage that I've done. And then he just decides, oh, well, what's a little more?
Yeah. And some dreams are bigger than other dreams, and other dreams have to be tossed into that dream to feed the fire, or some shit like that. They say dream a lot in that bit.
Yeah, that's true. This show definitely is about, like, like on an existential level, like whose dreams matter and whose don't, like and like I definitely think it errs on the side of like you shouldn't like blatantly blatantly let people die for your own power gain, but
but some people are going to.
Yeah,
Berserk I think is about how shit just ain't fair.
Mm-hmm.
Guts lives in spite of everything around him.
Yeah. Like
I think that's what he says at some point, isn't it? There's some line where let me collect my thoughts on this for a second. I think what he says is, oh fuck, never mind. But do y'all know what I'm talking about? Help me, please.
Yeah, I know it. I think he did say something to that effect at some point. Motherfucker was born from his mother's corpse while she was hanging from a tree.
Yeah, Josh, that's something that they kind of touch on, like that he was born from a corpse. That's real. We talked about this in the last episode. That's real.
Gambino, I think his name is, just found the dude hanging from his mom's corpse from a tree. Just blew in there.
Yeah, and like that leads into kind of an interesting idea about like predetermined fate, like that's like the literal opening of the show is like the narrator monologuing about like the fate of man, but Guts was literally born like around death, like, and that's basically what he spends his whole life like creating is just more death, and like to a certain extent he's aware of that because like he knows that that's the only thing he's ever good at, but like but he also doesn't want to kill for any cause other than his own or what he believes in,
Dude
That's
just
what it
wants to
was.
swing his sword.
That's what it was. He's decided that his life path is to see sparks. He will swing his sword for the cause of no man other than himself, unless it helps him further his own journey. And
But he doesn't really have a journey.
Right, but he says his path will be lit by the sparks of his sword connecting with others.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's another interesting thing about just the structure of this show. It doesn't talk I'm fairly certain, about Guts being some prophetic slayer of men / demons. It does talk about Griffith, though. It gives Griffith protagonist of Destiny treatment,
Dead
but
as
not the protagonist.
They tell Griffith, you are the chosen one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but sometimes, I think I wonder, is that really true, or are they just feeding his ego to get them on his side? At the very end, when all the demons are confronting him and trying to get him to fulfill this prophecy or whatever, is the prophecy legit, or does he actually have the ability to say no and then fate changes?
Well, he may well have the ability, but he didn't.
He didn't, and so if the prophecy, it doesn't matter if the prophecy was real or not. He fed into it.
He fulfilled it. He sure did.
That is definitely true.
So we've been going for about 36 minutes now, and I think it would be a little early in any other episode for the ad break, but under these circumstances, I think here is going to be our ad break, and after this, we're full spoilers, full discussion. That content warning from the beginning fully applies after this ad break. So if you got to dip out, thanks for sticking with us. We'll see you 2 weeks from now when we talk about Cowboy Bebop. Otherwise, we'll be right back.
Okay, so now that we have free reign to talk about whatever we like,
can I just give a little rundown for it?
Sure, go right ahead.
In this set of episodes, they end the war. The Hawks are knighted and are they're given noble status. Griffith is poisoned, but not really. They kill the queen because she was a conspirator in poisoning Griffith.
What a bitch.
Guts decides he's getting the fuck out of here because he wants to set out on his own and start his journey. He wants to gain Griffith's respect because he heard Griffith say, no man, I have no friends, no true friends, because no one is truly my equal. I consider someone to be my friend if they are truly my equal in every way, meaning that they have their own dream that they will stand for and fight against me for, if need be. And Guts really took that to heart, so he's setting out on his own.
Yeah. He's got to go find his dream.
Griffith doesn't like that because Griffith really cares about Guts, despite whatever the fuck Griffith has going on. Guts destroys this man's sword in one swipe in this beautiful, snowy scenery. It's a gorgeous scene. And Griffith is devastated by this.
Yeah, and I think that's, it might be a little bit of, a shallow interpretation, but I think it just comes down to, Griffith knows that, Guts is his best fighter, hands down, he literally, he slaughters just about everybody he comes into contact with. So,
there is no stopping Guts. He is a sword machine.
Yeah, and if you want to bring it back to the metaphor at the end, on the cobblestone path to his dream, Guts is probably the biggest stone. So he's probably the most important and most necessary.
Guts for a long time there was the wheelbarrow carrying the stones.
Yeah. So, So
Guts goes off on his own. Griffith is devastated. The Hawks don't really know what to do with themselves because all of them really liked Guts. Griffith knows what he's going to do, though, and it's rape a 16-year-old.
It sure is. That is exactly what he do.
And the interesting thing about the show is that, they never confront it, really. They kind of dance around it just because, they never have to bring up what Griffith actually did to get into prison with anybody. It just kind of gets skimmed over. which is a little
Right,
unfortunate.
like
but
none of the Hawks really seemed to comprehend what happened. He just kind of fucked off one morning and then got like captured because when he was seen through like a keyhole, and the guards got called and he didn't bring his sword, and so he gets captured.
Well, his sword got
and
broken.
tortured for a year.
His sword was broken.
Guts broke
Another
his sword.
horrible thing about it is that the princess doesn't seem to realize what happened either.
Yeah, because like,
which is an unfortunate way to present that.
Right, it's very Stockholm syndrome-y kind of what happens. Like, I am saying, Brogan McGowan is saying Griffith raped a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
In the context of the show, it's not explicitly presented that way. It's shown that she's kind of into it, but she's got this idea of what Griffith is.
Yeah.
And so she's just fawning over this man. She says some things where it's like, she's not into it.
Yeah.
And then the next morning it's like, but like, it's Griffith raped a 16-year-old.
Yeah, like...
Hardline stance on that one.
She said no, and he kept going. That's the end of the line. Like, like, the show gets around it really easily, just, like, I don't know if they actually intended to do this, but the show gets around that conversation really easily, just by, like, the circumstance of, like, this is the end of the show, and they've got, like, important things to wrap up, you know? And plus, like, Griffith is already at this point just, like, going full, like, Sith mode, dark side, like, you know, so... Yeah.
Right, his best friend left.
So, like, you can interpret it as the show saying that it was wrong, but, like, it's not clear what the show thinks of it. But
so he gets captured. Go ahead, Kian.
I think the way I interpret it is that Guts fucks off, and Griffith just doesn't know what to do with himself.
Yeah.
So he does the thing that he has never once done in his entire career of trying to become King Overlord Guru the Second or whatever. And acts purely on his impulse, and his impulse is self-destruction. Which he accomplishes, as he does everything he does, with a certain level of gravitas.
My interpretation of it personally is that, like, Griffith and Guts are, like, Guts is Griffith's, like, closest relationship, really. Like, you know, like, Casca's constantly trying to, like, bridge the gap between her and Griffith, but, like, really, like, Guts and Griffith are, like, his primary bond. And when that's broken, like, he needs something, you know, and, like, so he tries to get that from this girl who's been, like, fawning over him on, like, a romantic level, but he pushes it too far because that's just what he does. He's a power-hungry freak, and he constantly wants to, you know, get what he wants out of something, and he forces it upon her.
I think another part of the motivation there is that he recognizes that she is the princess, the queen is now dead, and that this is the easiest power play on Earth to become the next king.
That's certainly true as well.
But he gets captured, Guts fucks off, and there's a year, like, not really time skip, but kind of like, and it's not really montage-y either.
Yeah.
But there's like an episode.
The end of Guts' journey.
Right. So Guts goes off, he goes back to the blacksmith that forged his first sword, and he kind of lives with him for a year, and trains out in nowhere in nature, making the blacksmith reforge this sword until it's perfect.
Yeah.
Then, on the last day that Guts is there, he goes to leave, and a messenger comes asking the blacksmith to make as many swords as possible because there's a mercenary group on the outskirts of town. We're gonna go bandit hunting. Who are these bandits? What do you know about these bandits? Well, there's some bandits. They're kind of like disgraced now, but they used to have something to do with some army. I think there's a chick. There's a who? There's a girl. What's her fucking name? I don't really know. The white something. The White Hawks? That's the one! Gone. Guts is already on the way. He shows up. They're getting attacked. It's breaking bad there because they don't really have the infrastructure. They don't have the leadership. Like, Casca's doing a great job, but, like, they don't know what to do without the two powerhouses of that fucking unit, which is Griffith and Guts.
Yeah.
Guts shows up, cleans up, and then they go to rescue Griffith.
Yeah.
And that's when shit starts really breaking bad because they find him, and he's been just
fucked up royally.
And, like, the whole plan was that we're going to go rescue Griffith and we're going to get back to the glory days because Griffith's going to be back and he's going to be perfect and we're not going to have any trouble anymore. But Man got tortured for a year.
Mhm.
Complete cripple. They cut his tendons and his ligaments so he can't walk. They cut his tongue out so he can't talk. They've fed him just enough food to keep him alive, but not enough food to make him, even if
Dude
his
is
ligaments,
emaciated.
even if his ligaments weren't cut, that man's not walking for a few weeks by the time they pick him up.
Yeah.
And so the White Hawks just don't know what to do.
Band of the Hawks.
The Band of the Hawks. They're the White Hawks at this point. No, they're not. Are they?
No, they're not the White
They
Hawks
were the
anymore.
White Hawks. They are
Because,
now again the Band of the Hawks.
yeah, because they're no longer part of the military. But continue.
They just don't know what to do.
Mhm.
Everybody starts kind of falling apart, but they're all like still united under this grand idea of Griffith will be the force that leads us through this somehow.
Yeah, he'll figure it out.
Mhm.
There's a few episodes of this, but ultimately this leads to Casca and Guts forming a relationship.
Yeah.
And Griffith finally reaching a breaking point where he's like, I can't help these people. I can't do any more. They rely on me so heavily, and I've let them all down. I've allowed my mistakes to carry me to a position where everyone who trusted me with their lives now has nothing to do because I fucked everyone over so badly. And so he steals a horse somehow in like a delirium, like complete mental breakdown, fucks off. Everybody starts chasing him. He finds himself in a river and finds the biggest, sharpest rock sticking out of this river and tries to kill himself on it.
Yeah.
Exactly at that moment, the solar eclipse is happening in the background, and the bailet that the torturer stole from him and threw in the drain washes up in this river right into his hand, and he has a flashback.
To the
This item will give you all of the power you want. It will turn you into a king in exchange for your flesh and blood, and he makes that deal.
Yeah. And
the eclipse happens.
That's when shit really hits the fan.
And the demons start to walk the earth. And the God Hand shows up, which is this conglomerate of 4 ultra-powerful demons that turn Griffith at the cost of the Band of the Hawks, the only 2 survivors being at the end of the entire horrible ordeal. And these are some of the most disgusting looking creatures I've ever seen in my life.
Holy shit, yeah.
Like genuinely, I don't get squeamish about a lot of shit, especially not like horror monsters. These things frightened me.
Yeah, like I actually don't know how to
They are
describe them,
grotesque.
but like, they're like real like creatures of the night. Like if there was a real one, you'd probably just like stand there and gape as it ate you. Like you wouldn't be able to do anything.
Kentaro Miura has some fucking problems.
Huh?
Kentaro Miura had some fucking problems.
Oh.
So at the end of this
Not
whole
even
ordeal,
started on the rape horse.
oh fuck,
Another one of Kitaro Miura's problems.
we talked about the rape horse last time. We're not getting into it again.
Yeah.
Okay.
At the end of this whole ordeal, the only 2 survivors, other than Griffith, who has now become Phanto, the king of the God Hand, are Casca and Guts.
Yeah.
And the little boy.
What little boy?
The
The little boy that was in the river
Cricket?
the whole time? Or by the lake?
uh
Got saved by the fairies?
Ricket?
Cricket.
Yeah.
Ricket, yeah.
yeah,
He
like
got saved?
they don't say that in this show. Like they completely
they don't-
skim over that. Like
Yeah, Ricket.
Doesn't he show up at the end?
I don't think so.
I didn't see that.
Does he?
Yeah, like in a little epilogue.
Oh, the tiny little epilogue with the blacksmith. He was in that scene.
Was he there? I don't
I don't
remember him
remember
being
him
there in
being
that scene.
He did survive.
I know he survives in the
Ricket
manga because I
survived.
looked at it.
Ricket's still kicking.
But he wasn't. Ricket wasn't in the eclipse.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't at the advent of the God Hand or whatever it's referred to as.
Mhm. Lucky him.
So what happens at the end of Berserk? At the end of the Golden Age arc, Guts is fighting tooth and nail to try and kill all these fucking demons because that's what he does.
Yeah.
He gets pinned down. His arm gets trapped in the mouth of one of these things, and his sword breaks. And
And all this time he's trying to save Griffith, right?
He's trying to save
Casca.
Griffith, and he is trying to save Casca. The two people he has left that are still alive and that he cares about. These are the two people on the planet that this man cares about. And then Griffith captures Casca.
Strips her naked. Actually, the monster stripped her naked before that, but she is stripped naked, and he...
And Griffith, in front of Guts, rapes Casca.
Yeah.
While something gouges his eye out.
Yeah, like he cuts his arm off and
Guts
tries to...
cuts his arm off. He gets free from
He
the
doesn't really
trap
cut his arm off, he stabs it with a broken sword
Yeah.
until it
with
is
a
disconnected
blunt,
from him.
broken sword.
Yeah, it's the most gnarly thing I've ever seen.
And then he gets pinned down. The claw of the thing that pins him down gouges his eye out.
Yeah.
And he is forced to watch as his best friend rapes his girlfriend.
Yeah. And, like, that's pretty much the
And
end
then
of
it
the
ends.
show. Like, credits roll at that point. Like, there's a little epilogue after the credits that, like, ties it back to the first episode, but that's, like, the last... That's, like... It feels like the ending of the show. Like, you know? Like... and, like, I don't know how to...
So, technically what happens is then... I don't know if you're supposed to go back and watch episode 1.
I did.
But Guts wakes up in a field. He's got the brand, surrounded by the ghosts he's being tormented by. And then the Black Swordsman arc happens.
Well, actually, like, it doesn't lead into it really well. That's kind of one of the problems I have with, like, the ending of this, is that, like, it doesn't really justify the first episode, really. Like, if they're supposed to lead into each other, like, it's in the loosest way possible, where, like,
Right.
you know, you can kind of infer it, but, like, they don't explain how he gets out of the situation with the solstice or whatever. Like,
The eclipse.
Or the eclipse.
Does.
I mean,
Does.
he does, but like they don't show how that happens. Really, it's just kind of like you have to infer that based on, you know, whatever. Like, and it's a little weird. Like a little weird to make that jump.
I think Griffith might have just let him go.
Yeah, but
Either that
Like,
or
I
the
think that's
eclipse
genuinely
was...
it.
It could be that. It could also be that the eclipse was genuinely an eclipse, and so the time allotted for this event to take place was while the eclipse was happening. And then the eclipse ended, and the demons were banished or separated or something.
Mm-hmm.
That might be it. It's not clear.
yeah. And then like the first episode, if you watch like episode 25 and then go back and watch episode 1, like episode 1 doesn't really feel like a conclusion, you know? Like it doesn't feel like, you know, like it feels like he's kind of on a bit of a new journey, but like it doesn't feel like the proper conclusion to the story, which is a little weird considering the way that they structure it, so that it feels a little like you're supposed to be able to watch the first episode and feel like that's the ending to a certain extent.
It isn't. There's like 20 more years of Berserk after that.
Yeah, which is one thing I wonder about. Like, were they planning on making more of this afterwards? Like, I know that
100%.
I know they have the 2016 series, which covers that arc afterwards. But like, were they planning on making a second season after the first one? Is what I wonder.
Oh, in the anime,
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so that's weird. But you know, it. I don't know. I'm a weird sucker for like really dark, grim endings. Like, you know, I don't know what it is about the sadist in me or whatever, but like I really like an ending that's just like, you know, and then lots of people die for some reason, you know?
I can't say I'm on board with you. Like I get it. I understand like I don't want to say a satisfaction, but I understand the storytelling elements that make an ending like that powerful and meaningful.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that everything should end that way, of course, but like, you know, but like it feels a little bit special and a little bit daring when a show or anything really decides to like, you know, have a really like hard, gruesome ending, you know, like, and just like pull all the stops out and say like, you know, the world kind of sucks and there's not much you can do about it. Maybe that's just the pessimist in me, but.
So Kian is our resident Berserk fan. He's seen this several times more than Josh and I have. So now we're going to talk about
Guts and Griffith, and probably Casca, but mostly Guts and Griffith.
Oh, on that note, actually, Brogan, I'm going to need a public apology right now for me telling you, for multiple years, the multiple years that we have been friends, personally, you and I, Brogan, I have told you, you would love this show. You should listen, you should watch it. Just get past the first goddamn episode. And for years, you've refused me. And then, just recently, you proved me right, because you liked it.
I apologize. You were right. I like this show. I like it a lot. I'm gonna read the manga. You have to hold up on your end of the deal, you piece of fucking garbage. Read part 6, you cunt. The show is almost here.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what's going on there.
Personal feud.
I told him that if you watched Berserk, then I would read part 6.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jojo
dude,
part
start
6.
that.
Oh,
I
okay.
watched episode 1 of I've been watching episode 1 of Berserk for the past 4 years. I've seen it 24 times probably. This is the first time I've gotten past it, but I've seen the first episode 24 times. This man doesn't know.
I've read the first chapter. I've read the first chapter.
Anyways. So Kian, do you want to just as a little levity break? Do you want to explain Griffith did nothing wrong?
So Griffith, as we all know, did some wrong.
Yeah.
It has become a meme, however, within the Guts fandom, to say that Griffith did nothing wrong, riffing on the popular Nazi phrase "Hitler did nothing wrong," because there are some similarities to be drawn. It's basically just an edgelord, people who are fans of Griffith say it, because, you know, they think it's funny.
Yeah.
Contrarians, shitposting.
Yep.
But basically, Griffith is pretty good for the most part of the Golden Age arc.
I mean,
And then he actually is a kind of okay leader once he actually does that, I'm pretty sure. Like, once he, like, starts being the king.
I mean...
Very few people actually believe he did nothing wrong, though.
I mean,
Like some people make the argument that his decisions from his framing was morally justifiable. I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
But I think there are people out there that argue that. So, I'm going to try and lead this. The dynamic between Griffith and Guts is one of immense respect both ways. Griffith is a manipulator.
yeah.
And so Griffith does everything he can to make people fall into his hands like chess pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Guts, outside of Casca, might be the one person that Griffith has ever been impressed by.
Yeah.
And I don't actually think he was that impressed by Casca, because, you know, Griffith says the whole thing about no one can truly be my friend unless they have their own dream that they're willing to fight me for.
Yeah.
And Casca's whole deal is that she's following Griffith, and that's all she wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, she can be an impressive captain and fighter and all that, but not Griffith's equal. Guts is the closest that's ever come to.
And even then, Guts doesn't explicitly have his own dream or his own journey that he's willing to fight for. He doesn't know what he's doing. Him and that sword are the same fucking entity, and all he knows how to do is swing it.
Yeah. Like, and obviously, like, the Hawks give him, like, an outlet to do that. Like, you know, but, like, he eventually, like, kind of comes to the realization that, like, this can't go on forever. So, like, he decides, like, once at a certain point he's going to, like, just leave the Hawks and let that be that. But
it also comes down to he decides that he is going to gain Griffith's respect.
Yeah.
He knows that Griffith cares about him and has some form of liking towards him, but he genuinely cannot stand that Griffith does not see him as his equal, because that's what Guts wants more than anything else. He wants he wants friends. He wants connections. At this
That's
point,
all Guts wants. That's all Guts wants. Guts wants
at this point, later on that changes, and Guts
Later
doesn't
on,
want
all Guts
shit
wants
to
is
do
to
with
kill
anybody.
Griffith.
But right now, Guts has seen horrible shit. Guts has been through horrible shit, and he finds it really hard to care about people.
Yeah.
And this is the one time. This is the first time of many times that he allows himself to care about somebody, and it goes horribly fucking wrong.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time he does it, it goes horribly fucking wrong.
Yeah.
And he did care about Gambino, despite Gambino.
Yeah. Gambino. Ooh.
There's,
man.
And he killed him.
There's also the fact that Guts is a walking entropy machine, in that the only thing... They say this, but I think it is genuinely true. The only reason all of this broke as bad as it did was because Guts left.
Yeah.
Because Griffith was being a manipulator when he said, I don't have any friends.
Mm-hmm.
The only person who could truly be my friend is somebody who I see as a true equal. And I have no true equals. He was being a manipulator. He was trying to get something he wanted. And Guts took it to heart. And Guts went off and tried to do it. And that destroyed Griffith. Because Griffith really did... I think, Brogan thinks, Griffith saw Guts as a friend. Griffith cared about Guts immensely.
Yeah. And
there's all kinds of ideas about him trying to play it off. He's like, oh, I own you. Griffith cared about Guts. And Guts fucked off, and it destroyed Griffith.
Any other person from the Band of the Hawks, even Casca or any of the main, 6, if they wanted to fuck off, they could have fucked off. Griffith only put up that much of a fight because it was Guts.
Yeah.
Because I think Guts stabilized Griffith, which you can pretty well see from Griffith's actions.
Yeah.
Once Guts leaves.
I'm trying to find a segue to a point because I feel like you two are talking and and I have nothing interesting to say. I'm just agreeing with you.
That's okay. We're right.
I mean, that's what I was doing earlier. You two were riffing about something, and I was just kind of drifting off in the background.
Yeah.
So, is there more ground to cover with the Guts and Griffith thing?
I mean, we can talk about, the Guts-Griffith-Casca love triangle that kind of happens.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I mean, Casca, is initially, she initially has, the thing for Griffith. She's constantly pursuing him as as a love interest, and he never reciprocates that, and then she eventually comes to the realization that Griffith will never love him, and that leads to a suicide, or never love her, and that leads to a suicide attempt that then leads to Guts and Casca being a thing. But then Griffith sees Guts and Casca and when he's sitting in that chariot or whatever, not the chariot, the
wagon.
The wagon. He's sitting in the wagon, unable to do anything, and he sees them together, and that sets him off. It is, and I guess he's getting jealous for Guts because he doesn't really have much of a care for Casca.
I think he does. I mean, y'all keep saying this. I think he does care about Casca.
I don't know. It seems like a lot on her end, but unless she's being advantageous to him, he doesn't have much of a care for her.
I think part of it comes from Griffith became so used to the utter adoration that Casca would throw at him.
Yeah.
That seeing that taken away by somebody else, specifically Guts, really twisted his nuts, especially after sitting in that fucking prison cell for a whole year.
Yeah.
Probably having his nuts twisted.
Yeah. Dude probably got castrated.
Yeah, but that's still him having the having the jealousy for the for Guts rather than Casca.
Right.
So
yeah, because here's the thing. When Griffith rapes Casca,
yeah,
I don't think that has anything to do with Casca.
No, yeah, that's definitely Guts. That's definitely them and Guts.
He is eyeing Guts down.
Yeah,
he is making Guts watch. You left me. I'm fucking your girlfriend.
Yeah, that's what it.
He does. There's the fucking Dio kiss in it too, where both of them have their eyes wide fucking open, staring at each other painfully.
Yeah.
And it's not fun.
No, it's hard to watch.
Yeah, and Casca has.
I genuinely had another tab open that most of that episode looking at other shit because I just couldn't force myself to watch that. It was disgusting, and we were supposed to start recording this like 2 hours before we did because I had to take a break from having seen that before I could talk about it.
Yeah, like, and then I watched it on like a big screen, so. And my parents kept walking in and out of the room, and.
Hey son, what you watching?
That actually happened. It wasn't in such a bad scene, but like he did walk in and was like, "What is this?" And it was like, "It's Berserk. It's kind of like Game of Thrones, but like a little less complicated." And he's like, "Okay," and they walked out.
But I think the whole pain of watching that scene is a testament to how well
Yes.
this show presents its characters.
Exactly.
Because you care about them. You genuinely care about all of them. You even care about Griffith.
I don't think
for a while.
I don't, but I mean, I cared a little bit for a while.
Until
but,
he
like,
does that.
But like, you know, eventually you kind of realize he is being so manipulative, and he doesn't really have a plan apart from control. And you know, at that point, I kind of stopped caring about him. But
Yeah, but I think that Griffith is more complex than
yeah, he's certainly a complex character. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
like that's what he do.
At the end of the day, his actions are the man he is.
Mhm. Certainly. And like that kind of brings me to like back to Guts. Like, how complicit is he in this? Because like he's basically like his right hand man doing all the dirty work the whole time. Even in war, like he's the one slaughtering the most people. And like without him, it's very easy to say that like they wouldn't have gotten as far as they did. So like
I said, he's the wheelbarrow that the cobblestones are being carried in.
yeah, and like up until almost the end, he's just completely like ambivalent about the fact that like Griffith doesn't really have like a hard moral like ground for his conquest. He's just doing it because that's what he wants to do. And you know, he likes Griffith, so he's willing to do that, but like, you know, that still puts a lot of complicity on him at the end of the day.
Right.
And then that comes to bite him in the ass when everybody he loves ends up getting sacrificed, and you know, he loses like the one truest connection he made, you know. So, you know,
Just a little bit about post Golden Age stuff.
okay.
Casca does survive.
Yeah, okay.
Honesty
She-
isn't great for her.
She is essentially, from the events of the eclipse, put into a vegetative state. And
Not quite vegetative. She can still like walk around.
she can walk around of her own volition, but she like doesn't talk. She doesn't remember much, if anything. She's incredibly skittish around people.
She basically regresses to like an infant.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
And she is Guts is with Guts for as far as I can tell, everything up until the final chapter published before Mira's passing, in which apparently there is some good closure to her story arc.
Okay.
She gave birth to a demon kid.
At some point in the interim or recently?
No, like after the events of the last episode, she gave birth to Demon Child, who is Guts' kid, but was tainted by Griffith's demon nut.
Is this some Giorno shit?
Kinda. It's not evil though. I don't think it follows Guts around. Look up a picture of Demon Child Berserk.
Oh fuck.
Well,
This is the podcast where we say, hey, look this thing up.
and then we regret
Just
it.
take a peek at it. If you're driving, don't.
Don't do that.
Is this the
But,
thing
you
that
know.
looks like the thing from Eraserhead? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it
Oh
is.
boy.
She gives birth to that. It's Guts' kid. Griffith's got his hand on the ball a little bit there too.
Yeah.
But it's pretty benevolent. Just, a lot of horrible shit happens to every character in this series.
Yeah. But that's right after this arc, right? That's what you said?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I don't remember seeing that in the one episode of the new Berserk that I watched out of obligation, because I kind of wanted to talk about it.
So I'm pretty sure 2016 Berserk covers the same ground and then a little bit more. I'm pretty sure 2016 Berserk is truncated black swordsman. Is it?
Yeah.
It seemed like it covered a little bit of the same ground. Like, it has a very similar opening where, like, you know, there's a scuffle at a bar or something. But, like...
I'm pretty sure it is also truncated black swordsman, Golden Age, and then a little bit after Golden Age.
No, the first episode doesn't cover, like, just about anything that happened in the, from what I can tell, in the original 97 anime. Like,
and also, it fucking blows.
I don't think it sucks. Like, well, I only saw the first episode, but I don't think it sucks from what I saw. Like,
it looks terrible.
Like, here's the thing.
I think a lot of people's perceptions of it are tainted by the original television broadcast, which did look terrible. They've gone back and retouched it for, like, Blu-ray releases, and it looks a little bit better, but not much. There's also some really weird camera shit that they do, simply because they did it in 3D, and they were like, we can move the camera around like a crazy fucking monkey on a tripod. Literally there are camera movements in there and scene compositions and shots that should not fucking exist because they are so incomprehensible to the human brain.
Yeah, that was one thing I had a problem with in the one episode I watched. And another thing is, like, I think the animation style would work better if it wasn't being rendered in 30 frames per second for television broadcast. Like, a lot of animation uses, like, they'll hold on one specific drawing for, like, for longer than one frame of the image. So, like, you know, it'll be animated on 2s or 4s or whatever, so that, like, the animation has a little bit more of a stiltedness, but that seems to look more natural to the human eye than 30 frames per second motion on television.
I will say, there are some really pretty stills from the 2016 and 2017 stuff.
Yeah.
There are some really pretty stills from the 3D movies and the TV series.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up. Is like,
in motion, it's butt ugly.
Yeah, like, what I was going to say is, like, the show looks at its best when things aren't in motion. Like, when things aren't moving around a lot, it actually looks pretty okay. Like, it's not, like, Guilty Gear or even Beastars level as far as, like, CGI anime goes, but, like, it looks okay until, like, they start moving, and then, like, everything just looks a little too smooth, and, like, you know, and, like, the animation also, like, doesn't have a lot of nuance to it, because I guess they were just running on a really tight production schedule, but, you know.
Yeah, and it's being compared to this series that we were talking about, which is a very low-budget series, but it's beautiful. Yeah, like, it looks amazing.
This show does a lot better with handling its budget than the 2016 show does, from what I can tell.
The 2016 show pumped 80% of the budget into a handful of really good character models and then had to scrape together everything else.
Yeah, have you seen those fucking dogs?
I've not seen the dogs.
I probably have at some point. Oh, Josh, have you seen 2016 anime Rape Horse?
I'm not going to look that up.
God.
I don't want to see that in 3D.
It's even worse than the manga.
I don't want to see that in 3D.
It's worse than the manga? Oh god, it is worse than the manga. Oh my god.
Berserk 2016 dog. Oh. Oh wait, that's the Rape Horse. Fuck. Why did I look up Berserk 2016 dog and it gives me the Rape Horse? God damn you, Google Images. Anyway, I didn't see the dog.
Zod also looks horrid. Jesus fucking Christ.
But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna see that through in any meaningful sense. It looked fine, but it didn't really engage me the way this did. So, but then again, it was also the first episode. If I had to judge the original show on the first episode, I probably wouldn't have kept going either. I mean, the first episode is fine, but anyway, do we want to talk about the legend Kentaro Miura for a little bit? Like, while we're while we're kind of wrapping up this conversation, we're at an hour 26 minutes. You know, no editing, of course, but an hour 26 in real time. Right. So, basically, like, the idea for this came when he was 18 years old. So, like, somewhere around 1982, 1983, he came up with, like, the idea of Guts as a character, which, like, it's not a lot, but, like, when you come up with your most popular work, like, when the seed of that comes when you're 18 years old, that's pretty significant, I'd say. Like, you know? Like, I wish I came up...
Yeah, no.
I wish I came up with the thing that was going to make me popular that soon. And then...
Yeah, honestly.
And then, like, what he... And then he published a prototype of it in, like, 1988, after like doing some other work on some mangas that weren't really all that successful, he published this like prototype in a magazine, and it did well enough that like they picked it up as a series, and it's been running for like 40 volumes now, which is crazy to me. Like, and he just kept doing it. Like, you know, there were like hiatuses in between, but he kept going with this one story that he was really passionate about, which is really interesting, you know?
It's never going to get finished now, and that sucks.
I mean,
well, hold on. Miura has left. Apparently, they weren't very far from a conclusion, and Miura has left the production team with some sort of plans for some sort of brief continuation. I don't know if it actually details itself all the way to the end of the story or not.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they're actually going to pursue doing it. But Miura did have an ending in sight.
Yeah.
And he did leave those plans with the production team.
What do you think? Do you think they should do that, or do you think that's a little bit like taboo, or do you think they just won't do it well?
I mean, we'll never see how he wanted it to end.
Yeah.
But I do want to see how it ends.
From what I heard, the place that they were, like the place the story is as of the final chapter before his passing, it is a good enough ending. Like they weren't in the middle of an arc really.
Yeah.
Where they are is a decent enough ending, considering the circumstances. I will be interested in seeing if they do anything with it and what they do with it. I think that production team has enough respect and has been working with Miura for long enough that they can
make the right call
put together a good enough facsimile. Obviously, we all assume that there's some magic touch that he puts on it, and there may well be, and we won't know whether or not this is truly exactly what he wanted or not. But I don't think it should be avoided necessarily from the fear of ruining the show, because I think what we have is, I always think that new entries to a series it can be dealt with by the audience however the audience pleases.
Yeah.
Things aren't ruined by new entries. The old things are just as good as they were, and you can ignore the new things if they're bad. Except for Star Wars, where George Lucas decided that he was going to remake the original trilogy and make them worse, and then completely destroy any way for anybody to get their hands on the original fucking pressings of those movies. I fucking hate you, George Lucas. Sorry, I blacked out for a second. What happened?
George Lucas, what a shitlord. Like,
I think, personally, it is worth them finishing it out.
Yeah.
And then it's up to people to decide whether or not they
did a good enough job.
Right, they did a good enough job to accept it.
Yeah.
I think they can. I would like to believe they can. And I really hope that people don't attack them for it. I feel like that's inevitable just because of the way that people are nowadays. But I think that there is a decent chance, if they do a continuation, that it will be good and that it will live up to what's come before.
Yeah. All right. So, in conclusion to Berserk, do you have any like final thoughts on it, Brogan? And like, what would you rate this out of 10 now that you've finally seen the whole thing?
I'll give this. Goddamn. I'm really torn between like a 7 or an 8 and a 10. Like, actually, there
Not
are
a 9?
No, not a 9. There are a lot of flaws, like genuine flaws, with this show. But I think it has enough charm and such incredible characters.
Yeah.
That I think that I can give it a 10. I genuinely do. And the other part of that question that I really like to ask every time we do this, every time we give a rating, if there is more outside of what we've seen, such as a show that has more manga than it does show,
Yeah.
will you try to continue
will you pick up the manga?
Yeah.
For me, definitely yes.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
Me? I don't know. I'm torn between an 8 or a 9. Like, I think I'm gonna go with a 9 because, like, you know, there are like little things that kind of bug me here and there, but like in general, this show really does ride on like its style and its characterization, like, and the themes of the world. Like, you know, I think that all of it's really, really good work, and like the themes resonate with me, and yeah, like it's just really, really tight all around. I mean, like, obviously they could have thrown more money to it and it would have been like, you know, like qualitatively better, but at the end of the day, I think they did like well enough with their budget that I'm not going to knock them for, you know, like there was one shot like in the second episode or whatever where like they were counting money and they kept looping the same like coin dropping noise, you know, over and over again, and that's kind of like the budget thing that I noticed. But like, you know, but I'm not going to knock them for that because like budget's not something you get to choose when you make a project, so it's just up to whatever you do with that budget. And
1997 had different tools than 2021 does.
Yeah, it's not like they had like the BBC library of sound effects where they could just go for free and find whatever sound effect they wanted and, you know, make something better. But, you know, they did really well with what they had. And honestly, like, the dub is surprisingly good. Like, I wasn't expecting a dub from 1990.
The voice actors are fantastic.
Yeah,
there are a lot of people who are Goku. There are several people who I heard their voice and I was like, that's Goku. I don't know if anybody else has that little tick in their brain where they hear something that's similar enough to something else that they like connect it. I'm pretty sure it's the same VA.
Yeah.
But it is for the time, phenomenal dub.
Yeah, definitely. Like in a pre Fooly Cooley, pre Cowboy Bebop world, like this is a really good dub. Like
not pre Bebop. It does have a smaller budget though.
Does it? Is this not pre Bebop? I think it is. Like I think Bebop was 99 and this was 97. Am I wrong about that?
I know the Bebop movie came out in 2001. Oh yeah, okay, so 98.
Yeah, so this was a year after.
Bebop was late 98.
Yeah, so like in a pre-Bebop, pre-Fooly Cooley world, like this is like a fantastic dub and you couldn't really ask for better, you know.
What about you, Kian?
Yeah, what do you think?
What's your rating and are you gonna pick up the manga?
Berserk, this animated series has long been my favorite anime. Because I genuinely think that if this show had a bigger budget, I don't know if it would be as good. Because I think all of the little fuck-ups and imperfections, apart from, like, repeating frames or whatever in fight scenes, I think that just makes it better. Because I think that it forces this show's hand into playing the subtleties of its characters. And it does that really fucking well.
Yeah, like, I see where you're at. Like, I think that if they had a bigger budget, then, like, maybe this would be a more action-oriented show and have less, like, interesting character moments where they're just talking to one another, you know? Like...
Right.
I think it would be easy to fall down that lane. It would and it would wind up being a poor adaptation because of it.
Yeah.
But I think you're exactly right. I think it would I think they would be tested too easily to fall down the route of making it more action oriented to try and meet the market. But the way it is a phenomenal adaptation. And I think it has its smaller budget to thank for that.
Because like with the movies that they made of the same story, I think in the 2010s at some point, they did have a bigger budget and they did fall into the let's put more action into it, and it was worse for it.
Yeah.
But I give this show a 10 out of 10. I fucking love this show. It's just my favorite.
Does that make this the highest rated show that we've done so far, Brogan? Like,
I think so.
Yeah, because like
I think so, which is weird for me because we've covered shows that I think I like better, or at least have much more connection to and much more care in my heart for previous to this show.
Yeah.
Like Fooly Cooley. Fooly Cooley is one of my favorite things. But I think I gave it like a 8 or a 9.
Yeah.
I think so far Berserk is our highest rated show.
That's pretty cool. All right. And I think we're going to end it there on a high note, you know.
Apart from all of the positivity inherent in the show, we're gonna take a turn from that.
Yeah, this is definitely like it's not a show that I would like rewatch really often, just because like, but it's really fantastic at what it does.
So, Kian, do you have anything you want to plug or?
Yeah.
No.
No.
All right.
You don't Twitch?
Wait.
You don't Twitch stream or anything?
No, because I know I have friends. No, I'm kidding. No, I just exist. I'm a person.
You know, I was about to offer you.
Good for you. Good for you. Like,
I was about to offer you a potential like host seat for more shows. But I think you just retracted that one yourself, dickhead.
I'll try it.
Yeah, there are a few people who still can say that they're just a person living in the world, and you know what? Good for you. You know, keep living in the
honestly,
world.
Honestly, that comes not from not wanting to do it. I do want to do it. I'm a theater major.
Yeah.
I would like to be famous or whatever. I just don't understand how social media works.
Yeah.
We don't either. That's why we get 10 listeners an episode.
That's why nobody knows this show exists, because we suck at the social media.
All in all, I think we make a pretty good podcast.
Yeah.
We just have no marketing skills.
Yep. And I don't know how to approach a marketing major and be like, hey, you want to post memes on our Instagram account about, like, anime titties or whatever?
Is that what they're teaching people now? I guess that is. I guess marketing majors are just being taught how to make the coolest memes now.
I mean, the Wendy's Twitter page has to have a class dedicated to it, right?
Probably.
Oh, for sure. All right, Josh?
Yeah, speaking of our social medias, hang on, let me finish the Cheez-It. Okay. Okay, yeah, so I guess I'll plug my stuff first. JD Thorne Film on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You know, that's it.
You can find me at Brogan Live. There's an underscore in there. It's usually capitalized. I'm on Twitter and I stream on Twitch sometimes.
You can't capitalize an underscore, buddy.
Actually, you do capitalize the underscore, Josh.
You can't. That's not possible.
That's what makes it not a hyphen.
Josh, you hold shift and hit hyphen to make an underscore. You dickhead. You tried to actually me, but I actually'd you better.
Yeah, but if you press caps lock and then press it, you still get a hyphen. So
Brogan
it's different.
Live, if you like, that's because it's on the numpad, and everything on the numpad is removed from the caps lock. Josh, if you like Brogan, you'll love Brogan Live. You can find me. I don't know my ats very well, but Brogan Live, you'll find it. You can also email us at howtootakupod@gmail.com, and you can find us on pretty much every social media platform: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at howtootakupod.
Should we start a Snapchat? No, probably not.
No. We do have a Patreon. We aren't pushing it very hard because personally I think that we needed to wait on it. It's out there. You can find it if you'd like.
Yeah. Give us a little bit of money and you get ad-free episodes. And it's like $1 a month. That's like less than you spend every morning on coffee. So if you're a coffee drinker, that is. If you're not, I don't know what you spend every day, but but yeah, that's all we got. So next week we got Cowboy Bebop. So we'll see you then.
See ya, Space Cowboy.